Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Fluent English Conversations. I'm Anna, and today we're diving into the reasons why you might find it difficult to speak English fluently, all while sprinkling in some exciting hockey insights.
Hi everyone, I'm Jack. We're here to help you understand some common challenges that non-native English speakers face and provide practical tips to overcome them. Plus, we'll throw in some cool hockey stories, so let's get started.
Jack, let's start with the complexity of the English language itself. Many learners, including non-native speakers like ourselves, find English challenging. Why do you think that is?
English is indeed a complex language. One major reason is its grammar, which can be quite complicated compared to other languages. For instance, my native language is Russian, which is a Slavic language, while English is a Latin language. The structural differences can be a significant hurdle, much like trying to master a new hockey trick.
Absolutely. Even if your native language is closer to English, like Spanish, the grammar can still be difficult. There are so many rules and exceptions to those rules, not to mention the vast vocabulary. Homophones, for example, can be really confusing. Words that sound the same but have different meanings can trip up even experienced learners.
That's a great point, Anna. I remember seeing the sentence, "I ate 8 eggs for breakfast." The words ate and ate sound exactly the same but mean completely different things. It's little quirks like these that make English tricky, similar to confusing hockey terms like icing and offside.
Exactly. And even native speakers sometimes get it wrong. For example, a friend of mine who's from the United States said, "I would have ate," instead of "I would have eaten." It's a common mistake, but it shows that even native speakers struggle with the complexities of English grammar. Just like even pro hockey players can miss an easy shot.
Yes, and that brings us to another important point. Don't stress too much about making mistakes. Everyone, including native speakers, makes them. The key is to focus on communication. If you can get your message across, that's what matters most. Just like focusing on teamwork in hockey rather than individual errors.
That's so true, Jack. And speaking of communication, let's talk about fear and anxiety. Many English learners feel judged when they speak, which can lead to anxiety and self-consciousness. They worry that people are constantly noticing their mistakes.
Yes, fear of judgment can be a big barrier. But it's important to remember that most people are understanding and supportive. They're not sitting there noting down your mistakes. They're more interested in what you have to say, much like how fans care more about the passion players bring to the game than a missed goal.
Exactly. And this fear can be reduced by practicing regularly and building confidence. Remember, making mistakes is part of the learning process. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll become.
Speaking of practice, let's delve into some practical ways to incorporate English practice into your daily routine. For example, immersing yourself in English media is a fantastic way to get used to the language. What do you think, Anna?
Absolutely, Jack. Watching English movies, TV shows, or listening to English podcasts can be very beneficial. It's like watching hockey games to understand strategies and player techniques. When you expose yourself to the language frequently, you start picking up phrases, expressions, and even pronunciation naturally.
That's a great analogy, Anna. Another effective method is to practice speaking with friends or language partners. This can be done in person or through language exchange apps. It's like having a practice buddy in hockey. You both help each other improve by playing together.
Exactly, Jack. And if you don't have a language partner, you can still practice speaking by yourself. Try narrating your day in English or describing what you see around you. It might feel a bit strange at first, but it's an excellent way to get used to forming sentences and thinking in English.
That's a great tip, Anna. And let's not forget about reading. Reading English books, articles, or even short stories can greatly enhance your vocabulary and understanding of sentence structure. It's like studying playbooks and strategies in hockey to know the game better.
Yes, Jack. Reading can also help you see how words are used in context, which is incredibly useful. Plus, it can be very enjoyable. Choose topics that interest you, whether it's sports like hockey or any other subject you're passionate about.
And writing is another important skill to practice. Keeping a journal in English or writing essays and stories can help solidify your learning. It's like writing down drills and notes after a hockey practice to reinforce what you've learned.
Great point, Jack. Writing helps you think about the language more deeply and notice patterns. Plus, it gives you a chance to use new vocabulary and grammar structures, which reinforces your learning.
Another thing to consider is setting specific goals for your English learning. For example, aim to learn a certain number of new words each week, or to have a conversation in English for a certain number of minutes each day. It's like setting goals in hockey practice to improve specific skills.
Yes, setting goals gives you something to strive for and helps you track your progress. It also keeps you motivated and focused. And don't forget to celebrate your achievements, no matter how small they may seem.
Absolutely, Anna. Celebrating your progress is crucial. It keeps you motivated and reminds you how far you've come. Every new word you learn and every conversation you have is a step closer to fluency.
Speaking of progress, let's touch on the importance of feedback. Getting feedback from others can provide valuable insights into your strengths and areas for improvement. It's similar to how a hockey coach reviews game footage to help players improve their performance.
That's a great point, Anna. Constructive feedback helps you understand what you're doing well and where you need to focus more effort. It's important to be open to feedback and use it as a tool for growth.
And if you don't have someone to give you feedback, you can record yourself speaking and listen to it later. This way you can identify areas where you can improve, much like how athletes review their own game footage to self-assess.
Another tip is to practice specific language skills. For instance, if you find listening difficult, focus on listening exercises. If speaking is your challenge, engage in more conversations. It's like focusing on different aspects of hockey training, such as skating, shooting, or defense.
Yes. Breaking down your practice into specific skills can make the process more manageable and less overwhelming. It also allows you to target your weak areas more effectively.
And let's not forget about the importance of staying motivated. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. It's important to stay positive and keep pushing forward, just like in a long hockey season.
Absolutely, Jack. Finding ways to keep yourself motivated can make a big difference. This could be through setting personal rewards, joining language learning communities, or even combining your love for hockey with your language practice.
That's a great idea, Anna. Combining your interests can make learning more enjoyable and relevant. For example, you could read articles or watch documentaries about hockey in English. This way, you're learning the language while engaging with something you love.
And speaking of combining interests, let's share a fun exercise for our listeners. Try to describe a hockey game or your favorite hockey player in English. This will help you practice vocabulary, grammar, and speaking skills in a context you enjoy.
That's a fantastic exercise, Anna. It's practical and fun. Plus, it helps you practice using English in a real-life context, which is incredibly valuable.
And remember, practice makes perfect. The more you use English, the more natural it will become. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're a natural part of learning, just like in hockey.
Absolutely. Keep practicing, stay confident, and embrace the journey of learning English. If you found this episode helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Take care and keep practicing your English.
And remember, every word you learn and every conversation you have brings you closer to fluency. Keep it up, and we'll see you next time.
Before we wrap up, let's review the 5 vocabulary words we mentioned earlier. Complexity, the state or quality of being intricate or complicated. Homophone, words that sound the same but have different meanings. Quirk, a peculiar aspect of a person's character or behaviour. Anxiety, a feeling of worry, nervousness or unease. Nuance, a subtle difference in meaning or expression.
Great choices, Anna. These words will definitely help expand your vocabulary and improve your English skills.
And now for our brief grammar lesson. Let's discuss comparative adjectives. When you're comparing two things, you use the comparative form. For example, you say, living in this city is safer than living in that city, not more safer. The correct form is safer, not more safer.
Exactly. And now, let's pick up some more vocabulary from our conversation. Here are 5 additional words to remember: immersing, deeply involve oneself in an activity. Exposure, the state of being exposed to contact with something. Narrating, give a spoken or written account of. Solidify, make or become hard or solid. Constructive, serving a useful purpose, tending to build up.
Fantastic additions, Jack. These words will certainly be useful for our listeners as they continue their English learning journey.
And with that, we truly wrap up our episode for today. Thanks again for joining us. Remember to practice regularly, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're just stepping stones on your path to fluency.
Absolutely. Keep practicing, stay confident, and enjoy the journey of learning English. We'll see you next time.